your Super Bowl dreams till they all come true.
It's the kickoff for the 2005 NFL season as we welcome you to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with the Steelers hosting the Tennessee Titans. With Randy Cross, this is Kevin Harlan.
Kevin, I want to talk about the passing game of these Pittsburgh Steelers. We know they can run it. The key is Hines Ward. Trails only Marvin Harrison and Torrey Holt since 2001 in catches. For Tennessee, the analogy has been drawn between Norm Chow and the run and shoot. Don't buy that, folks. Chris Brown and Travis Henry bring 1,000-yard rushers to this offense.
It's the Titans and the Steelers next on CBS. Heinz Field here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Our broadcast today brought to you in HD TV by Sony, where available. With Randy Cross, this is Kevin Harlan. There you take a look at 48-year-old Bill Cowher, a Pittsburgh native, 14th season, 8 division titles. And on the Tennessee side, Jeff Fisher, who needs 2 wins to reach 100 for his great career. Fisher has won 70% of his season opening games. With Reed to kick off for the Steelers, it's the Titans in Pittsburgh, and here we go. And Courtney Roby from about the 11-yard line, a rookie wide receiver, will run outside, and Coakley trips him up as he falls ahead near the 39-yard line. A 27-yard return. 32-year-old Steve McNair. It's his first start since late November of last season. But he is hale and hearty, and as Randy said, he is in the best shape since '98. A rookie, Roos, for the suspended Brad Hopkins at the left tackle, and Drew Bennett, one of the best AFC receivers a season ago. Norm Chow is the offensive coordinator, and on 1st and 10, it's a handoff to Brown, who takes it by the 45 to the 46, and he's brought down by Hope, and it's a gain of 7 on the play. Pittsburgh's defense with Casey Hampton back in the middle. Dick LeBeau, 46 years in NFL football, thinks Hampton is as good as he's had in the middle. Joey Porter hasn't played in a month because of knee surgery back, and he'll be starting outside today. And Troy Polamalu made the Pro Bowl last season in only his 2nd year.
3 tight ends the first play, Kevin. 3 wides the second.
2nd down and 3 from the 46-yard line for Steve McNair. And here's Chris Brown again. He got a good block from Bell, and he's got a first down before Hope brings him down along with Porter. He careens his way to the 43. It's a pickup of 11 yards.
Coming into this game, I selected a few things for you guys to keep an eye on during the football game. Some of my crosstalk here. Troy Polamalu in the defense, he is the key. Find 43. And for Chris Brown and Travis Henry, you've got to be the key, and so far they have been. Ben Roethlisberger, sophomore, or some more. That means some more of what we saw last year out of him. Joey Porter in this defense. This is linebacker incorporated in the NFL in Pittsburgh.
43-yard line. It is a 1st and 10. This is Brown once again. Von Oelhoffen plugging the middle. He is among many Steelers with the tackle at the 40-yard line on a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down.
You know, this is just what Jeff Fisher wants to do. He would love to control the pace of this football game because he knows he's got some youth and inexperience on the defensive side of the ball. He needs Steve McNair in this offense to be extremely methodical. Just control the clock, control the downs and distances, and basically stay on the field as much as you can.
Travis Henry has come in with Fleming in the backfield, 40-yard line. 2nd down and 7 on the game-opening drive. That is tight end Aaron Kinney on the move. The fake and a good one by McNair. Sets up a little flare to Fleming. It's a loose ball. They're going to rule it incomplete. He did not have complete control of the pass. Incomplete, which brings up now 3rd down and 7.
Wasn't it different last night talking to Steve McNair and how different he's been? You know, he told us that I haven't been this healthy since 1998, which is kind of scary when you figure he was the co-MVP with Peyton Manning 2 years ago. He's 20 pounds lighter. He seems totally recommitted and totally re-energized about playing football.
5 in the secondary. Henry in the backfield, 40-yard line, 3rd and 7. They got to get to the 33 of the Steelers. And McNair, quick throw, that is caught by one of the rookie receivers, 3rd-round pick, Brandon Jones. He picks up 10 on 3rd and 7, another first down to the 30-yard line of Pittsburgh.
And the other thing Steve McNair was in our meeting last night was very effusive in his praise of his young receivers. He told us all the things they could do and then was very fast to point out guys like Brandon Jones have got just a world of talent to draw on and how much better they can play, and that's a great example of concentration for the rookie.
Henry remains in the game, 1st and 10 from the 30. The drive began back at the 39. Here's the former Buffalo Bill, Travis Henry, who was brought down nicely out of the secondary. Ike Taylor, no gain, 2nd and 10.
The interesting contrast with Travis Henry and Chris Brown. Chris Brown's much more of an upright runner. He's got some quicks, but he's more of a glider, kind of like Eddie George was. Travis Henry has very sudden, kind of violent moves. He's got more of a wiggle to him, and defenses will have a hard time when they transfer back and forth.
So on this drive, Brown has carried it for 11. The rookie Jones caught one for 10. 7th play of the drive. 2nd down and 10 to go. Brown is back in the backfield for McNair. Good block by Roos in time for McNair, and he's got his tight end banging his way down, Ben Troop. He's down to the 16-yard line. He is brought down on the play by Deshae Townsend. It's a 14-yard pickup and another Tennessee first down.
An excellent job by the offensive line. The Pittsburgh Steelers dropped off in coverage, but they rushed 4. And remember, for the line for the Tennessee, they're starting a rookie in Michael Roos at left tackle, and at right tackle, Jacob Bell, their number 60, coming off ACL surgery. So he's functionally a rookie, too, and his surgery was just this last December.
Chris Hoke has taken the place of Hampton in the middle of that defensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers. From the 16, 1st and 10. Brown remains in the backfield with a couple of tight ends. Chris Brown rules the block, and a tackle is made by James Ferrier. It's a gain of about 2, and they'll spot it at the 13.
You know, Dick LeBeau is the defensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and everyone knows, if you're familiar with the Steelers and LeBeau's defenses, that means a lot of multiple looks. And when Dick LeBeau gets multiple and Dick LeBeau does different things, he's doing that with Troy Polamalu. We've already seen Polamalu inside over a guard, transferring over a tight end, and most of the time so far, number 43 is dropped back into coverage.
2nd down long, 7-13. The running backs have become receivers for Steve McNair on the game-opening drive. Good block by Pillar. That's caught by Aaron Kinney. Lumbering inside the 5. He is finally brought down by Hope at about the 2-yard line. It's a pickup of 11. So on this drive, completions of 10 to Jones, 14 to Troop, and 11 right there to Kinney.
And what we're seeing so far from this offense for Tennessee is, Kevin, it's a lot like what you see from New England. And Polamalu made the analogy of Norm Chow to Charlie Weiss, the former coordinator for the Patriots, in that he likes to exploit weaknesses and he likes to keep a pace and spread the ball around so you can't concentrate on any 1 or 2 receivers. 2
tight ends on the near side. Brown is in the backfield. It is 1st and goal from inside the 2, officially the 1. 6'3" Chris Brown, and brought down by the Pro Bowler Aaron Smith with no gain, 2nd and goal.
Good example of that patience we talked about the offense has to have. They've had a nice mix of plays, but there's no reason to try and reinvent the proverbial NFL wheel here for the Titans offense. They know Dick LeBeau's defense is good in these goal line situations. Be physical, go man-to-man, and let's just see who's got the toughest guys up front.
4 linemen now. Kershke has come back in. Hampton is back on the defensive line. 2nd and goal at the 1. 2 tight ends for Tennessee. Brown in the backfield. Nice fake by McNair. who dumps it off to Troop, who stiff arms his way into the end zone for a Titan touchdown. A 1-yard touchdown pass. And the Titans have gone right up and buzzsawed their way through last year's #1 defense in the NFL.
Got to love what Jeff Fisher's offense did there. Norm Chow calls a little play action, and Pittsburgh just slams inside, expecting to get the run. Ben Troop, the young tight end out of Florida, Fisher and this entire organization is real excited about having a healthy Ben Troop, and that was a balanced attack. 11 plays, 6 runs, 5 passes.
Rob Baronis will try the extra point. He was in the Steeler camp a year ago, and on the final cut, they let him go, and he splits it through, and it's 7-0 Tennessee. It began at the 39, a well-orchestrated drive by Steve McNair, the MVP 2 years ago in the NFL, with the 1-yard touchdown pass. Second-year tight end Ben Troop just caught his second career touchdown pass again on that drive. He had Jones. McNair did for 10. He had Troop for 14. Kenny for 11. And then the 1-yard touchdown pass, McNair to Troop, 7-0 Tennessee. And Baronis with the subsequent kickoff. Taylor will get it into that sun at about the 6. Fakes the Coakley handoff, and then Reynolds, the reserve linebacker, brings him down for the Titans near the 23-yard line on a 16-yard return. We'll take a look at Roethlisberger when we come back.
Well, we've seen the new Titans offense. Let's see what the second-year quarterback can make with this one.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. Budweiser, the bright color and crisp clean taste you'll only find in the king of beers. And by Wachovia, wherever you are financially, we're right there with you.
All right, thank you.
After the touchdown pass by McNair, the kickoff return to the 23. It's 1st and 10, and a tackle made by Antoine Odom on young Willie Parker. It's a gain of a yard on the play. 2nd down and 9. Ben Roethlisberger will be donating $50 for every yard passed today to the victims of Hurricane Katrina. Last year's Rookie of the Year on offense. Ken Whisenhunt is the offensive coordinator. He's got a left guard who's a 3-time Pro Bowler in Alan Faneca, and Willie Parker just carried it. First career start. He's out of North Carolina. Bettis and Staley are injured from the 24. 2nd down and 9. Roethlisberger chased by Starks and by Bullock, and he hits Hines Ward. The catch is made at the 38, and they were working on the far side on Andre Wolfolt, gain of 14, 1st down, 38-yard line.
One of the things Ben Roethlisberger has gotten a little bit better at this year is throwing passes just like this, on the run with touch. Struggled a bit going out of the pocket last year. A nice example of a hard little off-season work on his first pass of 2005.
Pittsburgh's first possession, 38-yard line, 1st and 10. That's Ward in motion. Kreider in the backfield, and Parker. And slicing his way into the grasp of Castle. Brought down 41-yard line, gain of 3. Defensively for Jim Schwartz's crew, we need a big day and a big season out of Albert Haynesworth. He is the heart of that defensive line. Keith Bullock led the NFL in tackles a season ago, and Tank Williams coming back from an ACL, a very young and inexperienced secondary.
You know you've had a tough season in 2004 when you have something called the ACL Club starting 2005 to describe some of your players from the year before that missed the season.
Cedric Wilson is a 3rd receiver with his 2nd down and 7 from the Pittsburgh 41. Antoine Randall is on the move. Ron Haynes in the backfield with Parker, who gets the call, and the tackle made by Lamont Thompson, a loss of a yard. With our first update of the season to New York and Greg Gumbel.
Kevin, glad to provide it for you. The Chiefs struck early and hard against the Jets. Priest Holmes ripped off a 35-yard gain, and then Larry Johnson followed that up with this 35-yarder with the extra point. Chiefs lead the Jets 7-0 in the first, guys.
And that's early, Greg. Thank you. Kansas City's offense has been number 1 or number 2 in points scored in the last 3 seasons. There's something else.
I guess that veteran offensive line's feeling better, huh?
Yes. 3rd down and 8. They've got to get to the 48. With Haynes at his side, Roethlisberger is right on the money. It's caught by Wilson, the ex-San Francisco 49er, as he worked on Tony Beckham. The gain is to the 48-yard line of Tennessee. It is a pickup of 14 yards on 3rd and 8, another first down.
One of the major differences to me between college and professional football is when a defensive back plays a play this well as Beckham does. In college, the receiver doesn't get it. On this level, Cedric Wilson shows a good example of the concentration and hands and execution of an NFL receiver.
Now Kreider is back in as a fullback. Tennessee's 48. Pittsburgh's first possession beginning back at the 23. McNair has thrown a touchdown pass to get the Titans on the board. Here comes the rise up the middle, and Roethlisberger is incomplete, looking for Jeremy Tooman. A flag is down. Antoine Odom was providing the push for the Titans up the middle.
He got a little too good a grasp of the technique, I believe, on the left side of the offensive line there with a hold.
Personal foul, leg whip, 77 offense, 15 yards, repeat first down.
A little leg whip there on Marvell Smith working at left tackle. Odom escaped him, and maybe he decided he didn't want him to escape.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd say that's something that officials' safety is such a high priority. We've seen, Bill Cowher has served, as has Jeff Fisher on the safety committees as far as the rules go, the rules committee, and that's a real concentration in the NFL this year is player safety.
Back to the 37. It's 1st and 25. They've got to get to the Titan 38. That's Kreider, the fullback, on the move, as is Roethlisberger. And throws complete. He's got Hines Ward, who is tackled by Tank Williams at the 47-yard line. It's a gain of 11 yards on the play. And Ward now has caught passes on this drive of 11 right there and 14 yards earlier.
And Hines Ward, I guess you'd call his last couple months not troubled, but not,
interesting,
but not boring.
Right.
Spent a little time out of camp, was rewarded with a new contract recently. And for his work, not only just catching the ball and getting yards like you saw on that graphic, but he is an all-around football player.
48-yard line, 2nd down and 14. And they dump it off to Parker, who's got entourage, including Faneca, who makes a nice block. And Parker's on the move in his first NFL start. He's down inside the 5. Tackled by Lamont Thompson. A gallop of 48 yards, a career high.
Absolutely perfect execution on this play by the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Screen is set up. Marvell Smith and Alan Faneca out in front. And then it's all speed and run by Willie Parker. Good blocks, and that speed equals big trouble for a defense.
2 tight ends in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is 1st and goal from the Titan 4. That's the tight end, Tooman. And this is Willie Parker out of North Carolina. And grabbed by Bullock around the ankles. Gain of 1, 2nd and goal.
A lot of concerns here in Pittsburgh, and I think for Pittsburgh Steeler fans, around the country, around the world, that, Ben Roethlisberger would struggle here in the second year, and this offense would struggle because of his performance. And this guy was by no means a normal rookie. I think it goes without saying when you're 14-1, you're thrust in, you were abnormal. But I do not expect him to be anywhere near a normal second-year player. Way too much poise, way too much talent, way too much confidence.
Haynes has taken the place of Parker. 2nd down goal at the 3. Tooman, the tight end, on the move. Nice block. Time for Roethlisberger. Touchdown. It's caught by the rookie out of Virginia, Heath Miller.
Roethlisberger told us, we get down to the goal line or red zone, I'm looking for Heath Miller. He's a guy I can trust to get the ball whenever I can get it to him. But Roethlisberger said probably the person that's been the most influential for him heading into this second year as an NFL player has been our friend back in the studio, Dan Marino. And what a great resource to have for a young quarterback is a guy like that to bounce stuff off of.
So now here's the extra point by Jeff Reed. A look at Heath Miller, who is the #1 pick out of the University of Virginia. And we are 1 point away from tying this game with each starting quarterback throwing a touchdown pass so far. And we are knotted at 7. Parker's long run set up the touchdown pass to Heath Miller, who was last year's best college tight end. He won the Mackey Award. He just caught his first touchdown reception.
Reed will kick off.
Willie Parker's catch and run of 48 yards set up a touchdown pass of 3 yards to the rookie Miller from Roethlisberger.
And Ben Roethlisberger, #1 rookie all-time ratings-wise. Our colleague in the studio, Dan Marino, all-time rating-wise for a second-year player, Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Dan. That was fantastic to see.
Courtney Roby will leave it in the end zone. A touchback to the 20. Each quarterback has thrown a touchdown pass. We're tied at 7 on opening weekend in Pittsburgh.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chevy, the new Chevrolets, an American revolution. And by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, opening day Pittsburgh. Quarterbacks throwing touchdown passes for the Titans and for the Steelers. This is Tennessee's second possession today. McNair at his 20, 1st and 10 after the Pittsburgh kickoff and the touchback. 2 tight ends, make it 3 now for Tennessee. McNair. That's caught by Aaron Kenny, who is grabbed on the play by Chris Hope. The gain is 13 yards to the 33.
The two quarterbacks now, 10 of 11 passing. The efficiency coming in here was not something the average football fan expected to see from these offenses. But like I said, Roethlisberger is a quarterback that is not normal for a second-year player, and we're finally seeing a healthy Steve McNair. And I tell you, just through a drive and a play, this is the Steve McNair Titan fans have come to love.
Again, Ike Taylor is starting for the injured Willie Williams. No changes on the defense here. 1st and 10, 33-yard line for Tennessee. Henry is in the backfield. Outside it goes. Tyrone Calico missed last year with an ACL. Grabbed by Hope. Wrestled down at the 35. A gain of 2 on the play. Well, CBS Sports has added 2 new elements to its broadcast, Stat Tracks and Game Tracks. With Stat Tracks, after every play, you'll see updated stats of players involved on the top of your screen. Stat Tracks will keep you updated on the fantasy players throughout the game, and then Game Tracks will be at the bottom of your screen. We'll keep you updated on all the latest scores and leaders from around the National Football League. 2nd down and 8, they got to get to the 43. Kenny's had a good day so far, including a touchdown reception. Rearranges himself. Calico on the other side this time. And he's updated nicely by Deshae Townsend. That's a gain of a yard. 3rd down and 7 coming up.
Excellent tackling on both of the last 2 plays by the Steelers defense, and Tennessee's kept kind of the rhythm to their offense. And what Norm Chow wants to do is get the guys to the line of scrimmage with about 20 seconds to go on the play clock so McNair can make his decisions. But tackling like that and aggressive defenses like Pittsburgh's played on this drive take a lot of that sting and pace out of an offense.
Logan and Coakley are extra defensive backs for Pittsburgh. Henry remains in the backfield. 3rd and a long 7. Again, they got to get to the 43. And their second possession today. Here comes Porter. McNair throws, caught by Kenny. He's got a 1st down as he shed the oncoming rush of Clark Higgins. It's a gain of 9 on 3rd and 7. Another Tennessee 1st down to the 44.
Well, if you were waiting for the first time Steve McNair was going to get smacked to see how healthy he is, Joey Porter gave him his first little smack in the back, and nice poise, hangs into the very last second. He has 6 completions. 6 of his 7 completions now are to tight ends.
And Kenny on this drive, Randy, has caught passes of 9 and 13 yards in a drive that began back at the 20. And that should do it. McNair has thrown a touchdown pass of a yard, and Roethlisberger has thrown a touchdown pass. McNair's hit 8 straight. At the end of 1, we're tied at 7 on the kickoff weekend on the NFL on CBS. With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, Pittsburgh starting the 2nd quarter, tied at 7. McNair's been hot. He's hit 8 straight at the 43-yard line. It's a 1st and 10 on Tennessee's 2nd possession today. McNair to Travis Henry. He played at the University of Tennessee and brought down by Townsend, along with Hope as he grinds his way to the 49-yard line, picking up 4 yards. Thursday, September 22nd on CBS. Don't miss TV's next great thriller. Mandy Patinkin, along with Shamar Moore and Thomas Gibson, star in Criminal Minds, premiering Thursday, September 22nd on CBS, America's #1 network. 48, 2nd and 6.
Pretty impressed so far with this Tennessee offense and the way Jeff Fisher's unit is just bouncing up to the line of scrimmage and giving McNair plenty of time to make his decisions and calls.
Rookie Brandon Jones is the second receiver, second down and 6. Bennett is the other. Calico is on the side from the 48. Henry. Taylor tried to get a block, and boy, was he knocked down. The ball is loose on the play. Polamalu picked it up, and then Taylor comes up with it. And at the 40-yard line, it's a turnover and a fumble, and Travis Henry has had a history of fumbles in the NFL at Buffalo.
And more importantly, Kevin, Ferrier, number 51 for Pittsburgh, came here as a free agent from the New York Jets, and he has had a history of being a huge factor in this defense. He's a playmaker. He makes defenses and running backs pay. I don't care who you are as a running back. Ferrier sticks his head right on the ball. That ball's coming loose. You want a young quarterback to play well? Pittsburgh last year, number 2 in the NFL, and drives started in their opponent's territory.
Justin Sandy has taken the place of Beckham at a corner from the 40-yard line after the fumble. It's 1st and 10. Willie Parker brought down by Bullock and a host of others on that Tennessee defense, taking the pile down near the 32-yard line, picking up about 7 to 8 yards.
Talk about a young player with a great perspective. Willie Parker, very, very well understands his situation. No Jerome Bettis, no Deuce Staley. Yeah, it's his shot, but more importantly, his attitude is, I'm just sort of carrying this thing for the day. I've got the speed, but I want to be able to show what I can do.
Beckham is back in at the corner. It's at the 32-yard line. It's 2nd down and 3. Parker again. Simmons with the block. But a nice tackle made by Bullock. We began the broadcast by telling you that Bullock led the entire league in tackles a year ago. A gain of 2 near the 31.
And he gets his linebacking mates back this year with Brad Castle and Peter Sermon, a couple of members of that ACL club I talked about earlier. It's a good, mobile, smart group of linebackers with 4 very young but very athletic defensive linemen in front.
Beckham is out. Klaus has come in as an extra defensive lineman. 3rd and 1, 31-yard line. Parker again. And Odom slowed him up. Then he goes diving in the middle, close to a 1st down. And again, Castle in the middle of that pile. They're going to move the chains. It is a 1st down run of about, we'll say, 2 yards by the elusive Willie Parker.
Watch from the top. Pressure comes, and tackle isn't made. Odom gets his shot. Parker runs right through that leg tackle attempt and drives for that 1st down. That is effort.
Travis Henry fumbled. Pittsburgh takes over at the 40. Now they've got a 1st down at the 29-yard line of Tennessee. Both starting quarterbacks have thrown touchdown passes today. Hines Ward is in motion. Parker again. And brought down by Peter Sermon, coming back from an ACL. Down to the 25, gain of 4, and back to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Kevin, in Kansas City, if you're the Jets, you've got to challenge this. Don't you take a look as Priest Holmes goes around the left side, fights his way to the end zone, appears to be down before he reaches the goal line. No one said a word. It's a touchdown. The extra point, Chiefs lead at 14-0, start of the 2nd quarter, guys.
Thank you, Greg. What do you think, Randy?
I don't know, Greg. I think it's a touchdown. And I think that's also the worst way you could possibly start at Kansas City if you're the New York Jets.
25-yard line, 2nd down, 6. Some play faking by Roethlisberger to the end zone. And out of the reach of Antoine Randall L. Coverage by Andre Woolfolk. Well, it's not too late to run your fantasy league with CBS Sportsline's Fantasy Football Commissioner. Start your free trial today by clicking on Fantasy Football at CBSSportsline.com.
Well, that was Ben Roethlisberger's first incompletion. It was a timing pattern. Antoine Randall L. stumbled a little bit. The reason that was incomplete.
5 defensive backs. Fuller has come in. 3rd and 6. They've got to get to the 20. They're at the 25. Haynes in the backfield with Roethlisberger, who will run it himself, and brought down by Klaus. Nice read by Jared Klaus, a 7th-round pick a season ago out of Iowa. They lose a yard, and so Tennessee keeps him out of the end zone, and Pittsburgh will try for 3.
We saw Odom come around the outside and miss a tackle. Klaus, Marvell Smith barely breeze on the outside rusher. Then Klaus comes in from that defensive tackle position. And Roethlisberger didn't have the time to even get close to getting ahead of speed up. That is some excellent defense and good anticipation by Jim Schwartz, their defensive coordinator.
You can see 17 straight made by Reed coming in. This will be a 44-yard try as the Steelers try to cash in on the Travis Henry fumble. And Pittsburgh has grabbed the lead for the first time today. 44-yard boot. And Henry's fumble cost Tennessee 3. Jeff Fisher looks a bit concerned on the Titans sideline. Today, the MetLife blimp Snoopy 1 is navigating the skies above Pittsburgh to provide aerial coverage of today's game. It can go as fast as 55 miles an hour, go as high as 7,000 feet. Look to the skies for MetLife blimps at all future sporting events with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Reed to kick off after he just belted a 44-yard field goal to give the lead to the Steelers. And this is the rookie Roby, who takes it up past the 30-yard line and is brought down by Marie. That's the great special teams player who was picked off waivers last year from Philadelphia, Sean Marie.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. Rethink TV. Lowe's, where you'll find all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, where improving home improvement never ends. And by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's.
From the 31-yard line, right outside Heinz Field with that shot right there. Drew Bennett hasn't caught a pass yet as McNair empties the backfield. Third possession for the Titans. McNair's got a touchdown pass. Roethlisberger's got a touchdown pass. McNair to Ben Troop, who caught the pass earlier on. Ferrier makes the tackle. It's a gain of 4 to the 35. Mondays this fall. See why critics are raving about the new comedy How I Met Your Mother, premiering Monday, September 19th on CBS, America's most watched network.
You ever explain that to your kids?
They don't want to know. I've tried to. They don't want to know.
You give them the real version or the...
McNair has hit 9 consecutive receivers. 35-yard line. And this is Chris Brown. Polamalu can't bring him down. Higgins can't bring him down. Hope runs him out of bounds. That was a good-looking run by the guy out of Colorado who gained over 1,000 yards a season ago. A 35-yard romp and a first down for Tennessee to the Pittsburgh 30.
Well, normally the Steelers don't confuse a guy that runs a little high with a little glide to him as being weak. But this is nothing but arm tackling. A shoulder tackle early with no wrap-up. 2 arm tackles, and Chris Brown will kill you doing that.
Henry is in, and he corkscrews his way beyond Ferrier to the 29. And he's brought down by Harrison. Gain will save about 1.5 yards, second down.
I keep kind of thinking back to the conversation yesterday with Norm Chow, you know, the expectation level of this offense, and he talked about how excited he was to work with Steve McNair, but when it all came down to it, he said, you know, ball is ball. Football is just... You know, if it's football in high school, it's football in the pros, and we'll look for weaknesses, we'll look for pace, and we'll do our thing. Second
down and 9 from the 29. Henry offers a block, and McNair lofting one, and looking for Calico. It is incomplete. The coverage on the play applied by Deshae Townsend as they brought Von Oelhoffen out on that play and brought Kershke in on the defensive line.
And so far, you know, with 1.5 almost in the books, you know, Jeff Fisher has seen nothing so far to Drew Bennett, his #1 receiver last year. 80 catches, over 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, and it's been running backs and tight ends so far for Steve McNair in this offense early.
Copley and Logan now making 6 defensive backs for Pittsburgh. 3rd and 9. Henry in the backfield. They've got to get to the 20. They're at the 29. McNair, Polamalu was on a blitz, and McNair now rolling, and Polamalu chasing, and the pass wobbles incomplete. It was caught, but out of bounds, so an incomplete pass. And Bennett is the guy they were throwing to. Logan, Randy, and Ike Taylor were covering, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, we both got young kids. You see Bennett goes out of bounds, so catch or no catch, that is going to be no good because he never really establishes himself back in. You know, where's Waldo? So far, McNair is doing a pretty good job of Waldo being Troy Polamalu. He's finding that strong safety of the Steelers and exploiting this defense relatively well.
Here's a 47-yard try by Rob Barones, who played in the Arena Football League. Hendrick to hold, and this to tie the game. And he misses. So it wipes out what was a nice run of 35 yards by Chris Brown of Tennessee. And Cowher and the Steelers holding on to a 3-point lead. With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, we're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A perfect day for football. A field goal of 44 yards by Reed is the difference in this game. Both quarterbacks have thrown touchdown passes. This is the third possession for the Steelers, beginning at their 37, 1st and 10. Hines Ward is in motion. Roethlisberger. And going deep down the side. It's caught by Antoine Randall. Touchdown. A flag is down at the 47. Counted a 63-yard strike from Roethlisberger to Antoine Randall.
Ben Roethlisberger stood in the pocket. Jeff Fisher was bringing the heat with a stun up front, and at the last second, he lets this one go. But watch the body work by Antoine Randall. Adjusts to the ball. He adjusts. Thompson, the safety, can't adjust. Tank Williams falls down. Easy 6 points for the Steelers.
And with Plexico Burress down, Randall has taken that starting wide receiver spot and cashing in. And Roethlisberger has thrown 2 touchdown passes in the opening game of the 2005 season. What sophomore jinx? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new Sprint. Sprint, yes you can. And by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 40.
With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, we're in Pittsburgh. The Steelers have scored 17 unanswered points. That's Antoine Randall, the former quarterback at the University of Indiana. And 17-7 Pittsburgh.
Bruce Arians, the wide receiver coach, going over that play with Big Ben. And like you said, what sophomore jinx? There's that confidence and talent we talked about in the open.
And here's the kickoff following the touchdown pass of 63 yards from the 10, Courtney Roby, who also played at Indiana. His gang tackle by Frazier and by Brett Kiesel, 23-yard gain.
Well, here's the 3 key players. Antoine Randall, the rookie, Hill, the corner, and Williams right there, the safety. Watch the safety, Williams, try to rotate back to the 1 deep middle like a 3 look and has to overcompensate. He's trying to get deep so fast. That's why Randall is able to undercut him. He runs past him, falls down. That's the end of that play. That's an easy, good execution, and that's how a quarterback exploits things with his receiver.
Tennessee, with their 4th possession, they have started on their 39, their 20, their 31, and now their 34. They've got it 1st and 10. Brown is in the backfield for Steve McNair. Chris Brown. Slowed down by Hampton, and then pile drive by Higgins. He's out to the 35 and a meager gain of a yard.
And Casey Hampton working against Justin Hartwig, the center there. He drives him 3 yards back into the backfield, and that's what Casey Hampton's job is in this defense. They run a pure 3-4 so much, and they can do it because of the ability of that young guy right there at nose tackle out of the University of Texas that got that great big win last night against Ohio State.
No changes on the Pittsburgh defense. 2nd down, 9, 35-yard line. 2 tight ends, including Troop and Kenny for McNair. Timeout taken by McNair. Play clock is almost at 0. Jeff Fisher is coaching the youngest team in the NFL this season.
His offense needs to take a deep breath and relax. Don't push.
This Thursday on the premiere of Survivor, 16 new castaways get the surprise of their lives. And if you're expecting a big twist, there won't be one. There'll be 2. Only 4 days until Survivor. Guatemala begins Thursday, 8/7 Central on CBS. After that Tennessee timeout, 2nd and 9, 35. McNair winding and going deep and looking for Bennett. What a catch and brought down by Deshae Townsend at the 12-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was a hit of 54 yards.
The key to that play wasn't the protection, wasn't the throw, and wasn't anything that a player did. The key to that play was that timeout. Steve McNair had the poise to call a timeout, get exactly what he and Norm Chow wanted to do. Jeff Fisher's football team does not need to overpress trailing by 10 to the Steelers in this house. Keep doing what you've been doing well and have the poise to take that timeout. That was an excellent job.
3 tight ends. That was a 53-yard strike to the Pittsburgh Steelers 12. Brown in the backfield.
Play clock ran out. Delay game.
And that's surprising because they've been working on tempo so much in preseason.
Remember the whole thing. Get to the line of scrimmage by 20. Well, the clock doesn't run out. Here's Drew Bennett in the bottom of the screen. Watch him working one-on-one with Deshae Townsend. Protection gives McNair the time, but that's an excellent throw and just wanting to get it out of the air more than the defensive back for Drew Bennett.
No, Derek Mason, and now it's Bennett, the number 1 receiver.
Doesn't hurt that you're 6'5", 6'6", and about 220.
That's what the UCLA coaches thought for a quarterback. If they converted him to wide receiver, he was a rookie free agent, one of the top receivers in the AFC, first and 15 after that penalty. Back to the 17. Chris Brown. And runs into Aaron Smith along with Ferrier and pushes a pile near the 15. We'll call it a gain of about 1.5 yards. Aaron Smith made the Pro Bowl a season ago off that great defensive line of the Steelers.
See, Tennessee is very similar to me to Green Bay, Kevin, in that you want to talk about the youth and you want to talk about the problems at times, but as long as you got this guy behind center. In Green Bay's case, it's Brett Favre, and in Tennessee's case, it's this guy here, Steve McNair. As long as you have McNair and his poise and his leadership, you will always have a chance to stay in and win games.
Calico, Brandon Jones, and Bennett are the receivers, 2nd and 13 from the 15 of Pittsburgh. McNair throws a strike, bobbled by Bennett, intercepted on the deflection by Polamalu. The second turnover today by the Tennessee Titans. And the Steeler defense, last year, the only team in the NFL that did not force a red zone turnover. So how about this to begin 2005?
Well, how about that for a turnover, though, when you're talking about you take advantage of Drew Bennett's size on one play, then you have your safety, Hope, comes in and lights him up, jars the ball loose. Anytime a ball goes in the air, and you're in Pittsburgh, it seems like the ball always ends up in Troy Polamalu's hands. That's why every quarterback has to find this guy before the snap to find out where he is.
He had 5 interceptions to lead the Steelers last year in a Pro Bowl season. Second turnover for Tennessee from the 11-yard line. Roethlisberger, who's coming off a 63-yard touchdown pass. Good block by Hines Ward. Parker runs into Lamont Thompson at about the 15, gain of 4.
Now, I like that tackle.
It was a hard one.
Troy Polamalu, the safety for the Steelers, makes the kind of tackles that you just saw Lamont Thompson make. Those complete decleaters. Actually kind of a hair similarity there. One's a little dreaded out, and the other one's got, Troy Polamalu, we asked him during the meeting, he said, don't you get complaints about people not being able to read your name on the back of your jersey? And Troy says, my hair is my name.
2nd down and 6. It's after the McNair interception. Parker again. Oh, great block by Kreider. Lamont Thompson with a beat on him near the 40-yard line. And the gain is to the 40. It's a 25-yard run. And Willie Parker looking very sharp, taking the place of the injured Jerome Bettis and Deuce Staley for the Steelers.
You got the Pro Bowlers on the left side. Faneca, 66. Smith, 77. Tuman, the tight end, 84. And if you like speed and you like running, you like apples? How about them apples?
I got some apples.
That is some speed there.
Roethlisberger has thrown 2 touchdown passes. As you can take a look at the 2 guys in the backfield, the security blankets not there today. Parker 10 carries and 48 yards. Randall L. gets the handoff on the end around. A block by Cedric Wilson. Run out of bounds by Tank Williams on a little Steeler razzle-dazzle to the 45. It's a gain of 6.
Willie Parker talks about those 2 running backs that he replaced in this offense, Jerome Bettis and Deuce Staley. And he says, even in practice, and I'm sure during the game, they kind of stand close to each other. And when I do something, I look right over to them. And they're going to just kind of give me that nod. Yeah, young guy, young fella, that's fine. That's fine. You did good.
Second down and 4 from the 46. And the snap from Harding. Roethlisberger, wide open, tight end Jeremy Tooman. Brought down by Tank Williams, 27-yard line. That's a pickup of 27 yards. So on this drive, which began back at the Steeler 11, they get a 27-yard pass completion there. And that was preceded by a 25-yard run by Willie Parker.
When we talked to Ben Roethlisberger yesterday, we asked him about his tight end, Heath Miller. And the first thing he said about Heath Miller is, you know what? He's made Jeremy Tooman a lot better. He's challenged him, and he's made him a much better tight end. And, boy, it sure looked like it there.
27-yard line. Roethlisberger is 7 of 8 with a couple of TDs. And here comes Parker again, trying to knife his way in. Long makes the stop. Gain of 2. Roethlisberger, who you mentioned Dan Marino earlier on in our broadcast today. These two became pretty good friends this past summer.
And that's why I mentioned the fact, Kevin, that what a great resource to bounce things off of. You're hearing all the peripheral noise here in Pittsburgh and around the country about how second-year quarterbacks don't do this and they don't do that. Well, the one guy that never paid any attention to that and disproved that and took his team to the Super Bowl in 1984 was Dan Marino, and he's got that guy's ear.
Second and 8, 25-yard line. Parker again. Faneca with a good block. Thompson can't bring him down. Finally brought down by Tank Williams and the shifty Willie Parker, a kid who used to race pit bulls growing up in North Carolina. Outraced some defenders for the Titans and picks up 14.
Well, they're grabbing. I mean, they're grabbing at air, and the analogy I always use with a running back that's moving his feet like this, Kevin, is he's kind of moving like spit on a griddle. He's just hopping back and forth. You never know where he's going to go. And a lot of arms, a lot of flailing, but the moving legs are picking up yards every time they're flailing.
We're approaching the 2-minute warning. The Steelers have scored the last 2 times they've had the ball. Will they score a third consecutive time as Jerome Bettis and Staley watch on? Their Steelers looking sharp, leading by 10. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, Greg, Dan, Shannon Boomer with a special guest, Jerry Rice, all for you in the latest NFL scores and highlights. A special preview of the U.S. Open Men's Championship that's coming up. Boyman is in for Sermon as a linebacker. And here is a tackle made by Hainsworth as Parker ran into a brick wall. No gain, 2nd and goal.
Jerry Rice at halftime, huh?
How about that?
That's great. He and Jim Brown, the best football players that have ever played in this league, in my opinion. And, you know, that whole segue we've been doing with Ben Roethlisberger and Dan Marino back in the studio. I'll tell you what, Danny, a lot of people here in Pittsburgh are hoping that he's his generation's Dan Marino and takes his team to the Super Bowl in his second year.
Sermon is back in, 2nd and goal at the 10. Roethlisberger. He's got Tooman as a tight end. And Kreider, the fullback, is on the move. Parker hit by Vandenbosch and then brought down by Castle at about the 9. It's a gain of a yard. Well, we've all been acutely aware of the tragedies in the Gulf Coast region with Hurricane Katrina. And to donate to this cause, to the Disaster Relief Fund, call 1-800-HELP-NOW or go to redcross.org.
And both these teams, like teams around the NFL and the NFL in general, have been very, very active and very generous in their support.
Including that guy who was born in New Orleans and went to LSU, Pro Bowl left guard Alan Faneca.
Didn't really talk to his dad until Thursday after the hurricane had hit on Monday. It was sort of a communication problem, and his dad is probably watching this game up in Tennessee. He's up there with some family.
There is a timeout with a half minute to play in the first half. Pittsburgh will talk things over, threatening again.
3rd and goal.
There are 6 defensive backs for the Tennessee Titans, and that is what Roethlisberger saw and wanted to make a quick move and called the timeout. Quincy Morgan is coming as a receiver, the 3rd one. Make it the 4th. They've got Wilson, Ward, Randall also. Veron Hayes is at the side of Roethlisberger, 3rd and goal at the 9. McNair interception set up this Pittsburgh possession. Roethlisberger, who's thrown 2 touchdown passes today, Chased by Bullock into the end zone. Incomplete. Woolfolk was jumping with Cedric Wilson. So Tennessee holds him out of the end zone again and will force the Steelers to try for 3.
Jeff Fisher's defense, nice job not only of Keith Bullock putting that pressure on Ben Roethlisberger, but look at this coverage. I mean, where are you supposed to go with the ball? And exactly where he went. And what he needed there, he needed Heath Miller, that big tight end at 6'5", who he said he was going to throw the ball up to. He was throwing to 5'9", 5'10" instead of 6'5".
Here's Reed, 18 straight. And he'll tie Anderson's team record of 19 with that kick right there. Reed, his 19th consecutive field goal. Anderson played 23 years in the NFL, starting his career with the Steelers, ending it with the Titans. Coming up after football, ranked number 1 in the world, Roger Federer takes on legendary Andre Agassi for the U.S. Open Men's Championship. That's in Flushing Meadows after this game on CBS.
You see Agassi's quote after the match last night where he said, you know, Federer's got like no weaknesses and a couple of really good shots, so that's the formula for a problem. and the 35-year-old Agassi has played 3 5-set matches in a row. He's playing the most dominant player we've seen in tennis in the last 5 years.
There you see Parker, who on that drive had runs of 14 and 25 yards, setting up the 27-yard field goal. And here's the rookie Roby getting it on a bounce at the 14-yard line for the Tennessee Titans, and brought down by Andre Frazier, who is a rookie free agent from Cincinnati. And the ironic thing about Frazier, number 45, is that his dad also played for Dick LeBeau years ago. And now, of course, he is playing for Pittsburgh now.
Getting his chance to do that today, Kevin, because Charlie Batch was released because Clark Haggans and Harrison and Bull. I mean, they've got a lot of injuries at linebacker, and they needed the extra body at linebacker, so they went without the third quarterback.
And Tennessee just going to sit on the ball and run out the clock with just seconds remaining. In a first half that saw many big plays, Tennessee got on the board first for Coach Jeff Fisher with a touchdown pass. Then Pittsburgh came back. They've scored 20 unanswered points. Roethlisberger with 2 touchdown passes, Reed with 2 field goals, and last year at 15-1, Pittsburgh picking up where they left off. We're at halftime. We'll take you to your local station, then the NFL Today in New York as you're watching the NFL on CBS. Pittsburgh Steelers leading the Tennessee Titans 20-7 with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. 2 turnovers by Tennessee, and we've got 2 Roethlisberger touchdown passes. I think it's pretty elementary what's happened.
Well, pretty simple formula. Pittsburgh scored 4 times this first half. All 4 times they had the ball. They have no turnovers. They have 1 penalty. They've dominated this game just simplistically. They ran the ball very well with Parker and Ben Roethlisberger, like Greg Gumbel noted in the halftime show. So far, no sophomore jinx, and Greg, I'm not expecting to see it.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers in our first half as we take a look at our fantasy notebook.
The numbers. Who'd just start and how are they doing? Look at that. Ben Roth, 7 out of 9, 198 yards. The big play to Antoine Randall, the big screen pass, 48-yarder to Willie Parker. Made those numbers look pretty good. End of the second half, it looked like the Titans had a real hard time tackling Willie Parker. And Ben Roethlisberger, I would expect more of the same. It has not exactly been an aerial circus. It's been a great diet of good hard running by Willie Parker. And for the Titans, it's going to be on Steve McNair's shoulders, but then again, he wouldn't want it any other way.
Rob Baronis will be kicking off, and we begin our second half here in Pittsburgh. Ike Taylor inside the 5-yard line for the Steelers, and Belton hit very hard by Castle. It's a 24-yard return. He was stopped in his tracks at about the 26.
You know it's a hard hit for a defensive player when the offensive guy pops right back up and the defensive guy is kind of laying there looking at his buddy saying, is he up yet? Oh, yeah, he already ran off the field. Oh, man.
No changes defensively for the Tennessee Titans. And the offensive line stays intact for Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Parker in the backfield.
And we've documented the case that Willie Parker is playing very well, but with all the attention this preseason on the Steeler quarterback and all the fact that, oh, gee, your second year does this and your second year does that. See Brad Castle, the starting middle linebacker of the Titans.
Robert Reynolds taking his place, and I don't know if he was dinged on that kickoff return.
Oh, yeah.
26-yard line, 1st and 10, first play of the second half. Ben Roethlisberger throws, and it's caught. The elusive Antoine Randall to the 48-yard line. And brought down by Kyle Vanden Bosch. It's a 26-yard pickup and a first down.
Another great example of what Ben Roethlisberger's worked in the offseason, just getting better. We've seen him hang in for the blitz. We've seen him hit young receivers. That last play, rolling to his left and was very accurate. It's something he struggled with last year. Teams wanted to flush him to the left to make him throw. He throws like that very often. They don't want to flush him out of the pocket at all.
Pittsburgh has scored 3 consecutive possessions, 20 unanswered points. Willie Parker, look at him, break one tackle after another. And Tank Williams finally stops it. 34-yard line. That's a 14-yard gain. Parker had runs of 14 and 25 yards in the first half.
They're grabbing at this young guy like they expect him to go down easy. First it was Bullock, then it's Hainsworth. They're just not running through this young running back, and heck yeah, he's fast. But I'll tell you, heck yeah, he's pretty strong also.
34-yard line. And Parker remains in the backfield with the fullback Kreider, the fake end around to Ward, and Wolfolk makes the tackle at the 30-yard line on Parker after a gain of 4.
And let's be honest, I mean, this is a veteran offensive line predominantly. I know Starks and Marvell Smith aren't as long in his tooth as the guys inside, but this is a very powerful line going against a defense that has questions. Defensive line, they kept 5 second-year defensive linebackers, or defensive linemen. Not real big linebackers, and what we're seeing this young running back do is really shine with Staley and Bettis on the bench.
Klaus has come in on the defensive line for Tennessee for Hainsworth. 2nd down and 6. And Parker again. Looks like they've got Castle around his ankles after a gain of 4 near the 25.
But, Kevin, what we saw in the first half and what we're seeing right now out of the Steelers is Steeler football. You know, last year they ran the ball 61.1% of the time, which is the most any football team had run the ball since the '84 Chicago Bears with Walter Payton.
Isn't that something?
That's what Cowher wants to do, and he knows he's got good receivers, and he obviously has a strong quarterback. But their bread and butter is linebackers and pounding your face with the ball on offense.
6 defensive backs. Ward, Morgan, Randall L. Wilson are the wide receivers. 3rd and a long one, 25-yard line. Look at the time for Roethlisberger. Wilson wide open. Knocked out of bounds across the way by Tony Beckham. 14-yard pickup on the pass there, which has been preceded by runs of 14 yards by Parker and a 26-yard pass play to Antoine Randall on this drive.
Well, the key was the protection that Roethlisberger had, because what he did was he turned a normal play basically into 7-on-7. You know, Kevin, in 7-on-7 in practice, there are no linemen. Well, on that last play, there might as well have not been any linemen or defensive linemen out there because it was just pitch and catch.
1st down and 10 from the 11-yard line. Heath Miller, the rookie tight end, is in. Look at the big hole for Parker. Slashing his way inside the 5 and in for a touchdown.
Well, like I said, that no one's going to ever confuse this Titans defense with some of the great ones they've had in the past, but Willie Parker is really making this defense look bad.
Parker's got 100 yards on the day. Reed will try the extra point. That drive started at the 26 to begin our second half. And Tony Parker with the touchdown run. 11 yards with big plays all along. Randall with the 26-yard pass completion to set that up. The Pittsburgh Steelers have scored every time they've had the ball today. An 11-yard touchdown run moments ago by Willie Parker, the first of his career and his first career start. This is Courtney Roby. Oh, is he upended on the play? And Andre Frazier was the one to get him. He was just activated yesterday. 19-yard return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. Sony, transform the way you watch football with Sony, the world's greatest high-definition television. And by the Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
After the Parker touchdown run and the kickoff return to the 29, there's a fumble on 1st and 10. McNair smothers it with a loss of about a yard in the play. Let's take a look at that 11-yard touchdown run moments ago by Parker.
Well, nice job by Alan Faneca right in here, and watch right guard Simmons gets off a little bit early, but it's not called. Bang, Tank Williams. Bang, Woolfolk the corner. You know what that is? That's bad defensive football, and boy, does that get in the kitchen of Keith Bullock. That is not wrapping up. That's hitting to somebody and not wrapping them up and going all the way through them, and he bounces right off for 6.
Second, 11-28. Bennett, Roby, Calico, Jones are the receivers outside to through Bennett. Polamalu brings him down along with Higgins. The gain is to the 37. It's a pickup of 10, bringing up 3rd and 1.
Now, it's real important, too, for Tennessee and Jeff Fisher's football team to go ahead and maintain that kind of pace you had. This is the first game, and really that first drive was so important and so well done. And remember, they took that timeout, had the big play to Drew Bennett. They haven't been the same since Troy Polamalu picked that ball off that was disrupted and knocked up into the air off Drew Bennett's hands.
One of 2 turnovers today by Tennessee. 3rd long one, 38-yard line. Couple tight ends, net 3 in there for McNair. It's caught by Troop, who got by Deshae Townsend, plows his way into Hope, and continues to drag Steeler defenders past the 45, gain of 9, first down to the 47.
So far, I think the Steeler defense has done a very nice job of leaving Steve McNair basically with 2 things to do. They've left him with the opportunity to hand off to his running backs and throw the ball to his tight ends. Except for the long pass to Drew Bennett, the receivers on this football team have basically been a non-factor. 7 of the completions so far today to the tight ends.
First down, 47-yard line. Brown's motion will empty the backfield for McNair. There's a block by Jacob Brown. He's going deep down the side, looking for Calico, jousting with Deshae Townsend. And that is incomplete. Well, it's not too late to sign up for fantasy football on NFL.com. Live or automated drafts, expert analysis, up-to-the-minute news. It's all free on NFL.com or NFL on AOL. Last 3 possessions for Tennessee. Fumble, missed 47-yard field goal, interception. This is their 5th possession of the day. 2nd and 10. And they blow that dead in mid-motion.
All start, 71 offense, 5 yards. It's still 2nd down.
Jerry Austin, 24 years in the NFL, the senior referee. He's officiated a couple Super Bowls, 31 and 35.
And that was the rookie Michael Roos he was calling for that offside. Getting the start today at left tackle for Jeff Fisher. You know, normally Brad Hopkins starts at the left tackle position, but he's got a 1-game suspension for violating the league's, I guess, domestic violence.
Yes.
Yes.
2nd down, 15. They've got to get to the 43. McNair rifles a pass, which is caught by the rookie Brandon Jones out of Oklahoma. It is a 20-yard pickup. The tackle made by Hope. Brandon Jones, one of 3 Oklahoma wide receivers drafted early in April.
As we've seen so far in 2005, the Oklahoma Sooners can't throw the ball anymore, so they've lost all their good receivers. And this young man reminds some people out there of another kind of Hines Ward with his hard-nosed approach to the football game, willing to block and do the tough things.
38-yard line. Aaron Kinney is on the move. 1st and 10 for McNair. Handoff to Brown. Brought down by Aaron Smith on this drive that began on the 29. Pass completion of 10 to Bennett, 9 to Troop, and 20 moments ago to Brandon Jones.
It's Craig Johnson, the quarterback coach. He gets the call down from Norm Chow. Gets it to Steve McNair. That whole process has to happen real quick because they want to get him to the line of scrimmage around 20 seconds. Right now the clock's at about 15. So he's got this extra time to look at it because he said, I can have 3 or 4 plays called out of one simple formation.
3 receivers, including Jones, back to the 39, 2nd down, 11. Here comes the blitz, and down he goes, brought down by Higgins, but forced in the pocket by a blitzing quarterback, Deshae Townsend. And he just got back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Clark Higgins coming from the outside, then Deshae Townsend coming out of the slot. Flush Steve McNair up front. That tells you a little bit of how strong that quarterback is, with a linebacker around his waist. He still gets up to the line of scrimmage. Guess they're calling that the first sack of the game.
Kirsty is in on the defensive line. So is Brett Kiesel. 3rd and 11. They've got to get to the 28. Brown at the side of McNair. Here comes Logan. That is through the hands, and the second drop today by Tennessee. That was Aaron Kinney, the tight end, that could not lasso the pass. And for the first time today, the Tennessee Titans have got a punt. In fact, this is the first punt of the entire game by either team. And 34-year-old Craig Hentrick, a 2-time Pro Bowl selection, will boot it. And the great Antoine Randall. He's got a long touchdown reception today of 63 yards. This will be his first punt return. They'll let it bounce, and it ricochets into the end zone. Good move by Antoine Randall. 39-yard punt, full house here at Heinz Field with 27 unanswered Pittsburgh points. The MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 providing today's aerials. It travels over 60,000 miles a year. The MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 and Snoopy 2 team up with CBS this fall. With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. After the punt, 1st and 10, 20-yard line. Willie Parker. And one of the tacklers, Andre Wolfel.
Kevin, this has been one heck of a way to have your first start in the NFL. We did the game in Buffalo last year. We kind of had his coming out party. Well, not many people remember this one, but very few are going to forget the way that he debuted. Did a little handshake from Jerome Bettis there. If I had to guess, I'd say the veterans Deuce Staley and Jerome Bettis might get better a little faster when their backup does this kind of performance on opening day.
2nd down, 6. 24-yard line. 3 receivers, including former Niner receiver Cedric Wilson. Here comes Parker again. And upended by Keith Bullock. It's a gain of about 3.5. They'll mark him at the 27-yard line. What is so interesting about the way the offense has exploded today, Randy, for the Steelers, Bill Cowher very concerned about the passing game coming out of camp because his first offense had no touchdowns and only 3 points in many possessions.
And very limited reps between Hines Ward and Ben Roethlisberger. Very limited reps as a unit, live and really full speed. And sometimes you go against your own defense, and in this case, the Pittsburgh defense, your lack of success can be a little bit misleading because you're playing against a pretty good defense.
5 in the secondary, 4 receivers, 3rd down and 3 for Roethlisberger. Here comes the pocket crumbling, and he gets away and gets a great block from Faneca and Hardings, and he is finally brought down. Thompson brings him down, and Waddell brings him down, but he scrambles for 5 and keeps the drive alive, and it's a first down for the Steelers.
Well, that's a combination of good athletic ability, moving your feet, and being able to take advantage of some pretty bad defense. Because the defensive line does a poor job of containing Roethlisberger. Then he gets down before anybody can miss a tackle.
Steelers have scored every time they've had the ball today. 5 possessions, 5 scores. This is their 6th possession of the day from the 32. Parker and colored by Tank Williams, gain of 9. Parker well over 100 yards on the afternoon.
Well, run and pass. The word Parker's attached to it, but I think the word perfect could almost apply. I mean, they're running the ball at will against this Tennessee defense, and when they decide they want to throw it, it looks flawless. It's amazing.
I've enjoyed watching Faneca and Harding's block up front, too, because a lot of the things Parker has done have been right up the gut.
Yeah, that offensive line up front is so powerful, so consistent, and a lot of that's because of one of the best line coaches in the league, and former Washington Hog, Russ Grimm.
That's Max Starks, who is the down player. An injury timeout, Pittsburgh.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC's new Flavor Station. When your wings are dipped any way you want, you're in charge. Be the boss. Choose your sauce at KFC.
There is a new right tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Barrett Brooks, 11 years out of Kansas State. Starks walked off under his own power. We'll get an update on him.
Little Barrett Brooks. He's only 6'4", 3 1/4. Starks is 6'8", 345.
Second one, 41-yard line, Roethlisberger. Parker. He bounces off Tank Williams, bounces off Lamont Thompson. Look at him fly down the sideline. Willie Parker. To the 14, Bullock on the tackle, 46-yard run. And today, in his first start in the National Football League, 162 electric yards.
Wonder if anybody's got this guy starting on their fantasy football team, and how happy are they? Not much in the way of blocking. He just cuts back, uses his speed, and exploits bad tackling by the Tennessee Titans. And Keith Bullock is struggling on the field. Not doing well at all. He was one of those players towards the end there, diving, trying to knock Willie Parker out of bounds.
Parker, Randy, is the 4th different starter at running back to open the last 4 seasons. They've had Zeraway, they've had Bennis, they've had Staley, and today Willie Parker.
Well, the way Parker's going, he'll be able to combine those guys together and get his stats. That is nice. And they're now learning a new chant here in Pittsburgh. The Willie chant. Was it been since Stargell they had a Willie chant here in Pittsburgh?
We are family, right? Yeah, exactly. Good call. Well, Willie Parker is the star today. Roethlisberger has thrown for 2 touchdown passes, and now Verron Haynes is in the game.
They're bringing out chants. They're bringing out signs. He's got his family there from North Carolina. Brought the number 39 Parker signs out. Jerome Bettis and Deuce Staley just got a lot better. My calf feels good. How's your knee feeling, Deuce?
Bullock is out. Reynolds is in. This is Haynes with the carry. And not much doing in the middle as he's hit by a couple of defenders, including Hainsworth. We'll get that was a loss of 3 on the play, by the way, back to about the 17-yard line. So Bullock is out, and they've brought in Robert Reynolds, 5th year out of, or the 5th year pick. 5th round pick out of Ohio State.
You know, for all this Willie Parker love fest here in the offensive line, all Ben Roethlisberger is done has been pretty much nearly flawless.
2nd down, 13. 17-yard line. That's Heath Miller who ends up in the backfield with Haynes. Then offers a block, but there he is devoured by Hainsworth, and there are flags all over the field. Well, you're right on Roethlisberger. Very efficient afternoon.
Personal foul, tackling by the face mask, 55 defense. Half a distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Yeah, you know, somewhere in the Himalayas in a cave is a man wrapped in a robe with about 8 pairs of socks on that figures out what the quarterback rating should be. But he's perfect. Right. Last perfect rating, whatever perfect is, last guy to do it was Trent Green in 2003. And so far, Ben Roethlisberger is perfect. He's 9 of 11. He's got a touchdown pass or so, and has just been hitting and clicking in all the right spots, and basically had 1 drop besides that of those 2 passes that haven't been caught.
Another linebacker in Rocky Boyman. Still no Bullock in the game at linebacker for Tennessee. 1st and goal at the 8. And Haynes remains in the backfield. Kreider, the fullback, is on the move and will lay a block. And the tackle made by Tank Williams out of the Tennessee secondary. He's down to the 5, and he picks up 3 yards. So Verron Haynes thought that maybe he was going to be the starter, and he was the third down running back over the last couple of years, but Parker's emergence knocked him to the side, and Parker gets the start today.
Well, Willie kind of blew his cover this preseason, and I think the one that really got Bill Cowher's undivided attention was that 50-some-odd yard run against the Washington Redskins. I mean, he covered 50 yards in a burp. He was at the line of scrimmage,
or a
and he was gone. Well, burp takes a little longer than a hiccup.
Second and goal at the 5. And this is the 9th consecutive run on this drive, and it produces a touchdown with a great lead block from Dan Frank. 5-yard touchdown run. The Steelers have scored 33 unanswered points.
Well, to do this right, what you need are 2 things. You need a really hot knife and a cube of butter. And that hot knife goes through that cube of butter like shoot. That's exactly how Verron Haynes went through this Titans defense. See, the cube of butter is in white, and the butter knife is black, and not much resistance. In fact, he wasn't even touched over there on the right-hand side behind Kendall Simmons and Max Starks. Dan Kreider, nice lead block. Barrett Brooks, that's right.
Extra point is creeping in, a 9-play, 80-yard drive. The Steelers have 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. They've scored every time they've had it on offense today. And a devastating 34-7 lead. 6 possessions, 6 touchdowns. 2 field goals, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, and 34 points, but scoring every time they've had it today. Great day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The ensuing kickoff. Courtney Roby, a cousin of the late Reggie Roby, a longtime punter in the National Football League. And Courtney Roby run out of bounds by Frazier. Here's our NFL.com poll. Which offensive rookie will make the biggest impact this season? Cast your vote on NFL.com.
What the heck? Why don't we make Willie Parker? We'll make Willie Parker. How about Willie? We'll have Willie. Willie, number 39. He's now an honorary rookie. He didn't play much at Carolina, so he didn't really use up much eligibility.
Kursky is on the defensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have basically their starting D in there. 1st and 10, 34-yard line. And that play is stopped as McNair is going back.
71 offense, 5 yards, it's still 1st down.
That's the rookie Michael Roos as we go to New York, and Greg Gumbel with this NFL update.
All right, Kevin, in Cleveland, Carson Palmer of the Bengals, his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. This one to Jeremy Johnson, who will shake a tackler inside the 15 and up the sideline into the end zone for the touchdown. 24-10, Bengals in the lead, just under 9 minutes to play in the 3rd, guys.
Thank you, Greg. Remember last season, the 2 combined for 106 points in November, 2nd most in NFL history in 1 game. 58-48 was the final there. 1st and 15 back to the 29. And Brown is brought down very quickly. Kursky was there, and no gain, 2nd and 15.
Well, probably the most impressive thing about what this Steelers offense has been able to do to the Tennessee defense is they've accumulated 394 yards in total offense in the first, well, just a little less than 3 quarters. 6 possessions, 394 yards, so you're doing about 65 yards a crack every time you get the ball.
That was a pass intended for Bennett, and the coverage on the play by Ike Taylor. It was a 2nd and 15, which now makes it 3rd and 15. And today, Tennessee's offense, they got a nice touchdown pass from McNair to Troop to begin things, as that one was bobbled and dropped. Then fumble, missed field goal, interception, and punt. This is their 6th Tennessee offensive possession today.
You know, when you had this feel like Tennessee did coming out, Kevin, and where they just rhythm and just right down the field on that Pittsburgh defense. And, man, when it goes away, it goes away. This is like trying to run up a sheer hill of just sand. You keep sliding back every step you take.
6 in the secondary, and that is brought in by Kenny, who is hit by Palomula. And it was a 3rd and 15, and the gain is to the 42, and 2 yards shy of a first. He got 13 when he needed 15, and they're going to keep him on there and go for it on 4th and a couple.
Well, you're sitting on your own, 41-yard line, and you're down 34-7. Unless you're looking to pour a little kerosene on this fire, I've got to think this is trying to draw him offside. So in that defensive huddle, you're reminding everybody, no matter what he screams and yells, don't move.
2 tight ends. Porter is in a 3-point stance on the Pittsburgh defensive line, 42-yard line. 4th and 2 for McNair. And he's got it. It was caught, 40-yard line.
Flag's in the backfield.
Flag is in the backfield at the 37. The grab was made.
Holding, 77 offense, 10 yards, repeat 4th down.
The catch was made by Brandon Jones, but that's a second penalty on Hartwig, right?
There were 2 grabs.
Right.
One by Brandon Jones and one by Hartwig, 77 to center.
And this is Hartwig's 3rd year as a starter. And the second punt now coming up, second consecutive punt actually, coming up for Tennessee. And Antoine Randall is back inside the Pittsburgh 31-yard line. There is virtually no breeze inside Heinz Field today. Good hang time, long punt. 15-yard line, Antoine Randall. He's got a touchdown reception of 63 yards today. He's returned many back as a kick specialist, and look at him spin his way past midfield. A flag is down.
That was thrown by Jerry Austin. He was concentrated on the blocking.
Holding, number 92 of the receiving team during the kick. 10 yards from the spot where possession changed. It'll be a 1st down.
Harrison was the guilty party. Peter Sermon made the tackle for the special teams, and there is an upset Bill Cowher. Said they got you. Mondays this fall on CBS presents a new comedy about a family of doctors who can't take care of themselves. Henry Winkler, Stockard Channing star, is Out of Practice, premiering Monday, September 19th on CBS. They'll put the ball at the 8.
Jeff Fisher looks out at his defense. He's seeing a Pittsburgh Steeler offense intact. Still the starting unit. Veron Haynes is the only exception in there for Willie Parker, who's, I guess, 160 some odd yards in your starting debut is enough.
Randall is out. They got Cedric Wilson as a wide receiver. 1st and 10 from the 8. And Haynes stopped by Haynesworth. And the starting offense is out there, as Randy just said, for Pittsburgh, and the starting defense remains on the field for the Tennessee Titans after a gain of 2 to the 10. 34 unanswered points by Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh offense. 34-7 at the end of 3. We're starting the 4th quarter. Steelers have scored every time they've gotten the ball. This is their 7th possession at the 10-yard line. Starting the 4th, 2nd down 8 with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Keith Bullock has not returned. Boyman still taking his place at the linebacker. Bullock didn't look like he's going to return either. 2nd and 8. Well, that looked like a busted play, and Roethlisberger just kind of digs his way back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd and 8. Let's send it to New York and Greg Gumbel.
Hey, Kevin, the Miami Dolphins didn't register a win last year until late October. There may be one on tap today. Gus Frerotte, 2 yards to Randy McMichael, 13-3, the lead over the Denver Broncos, guys.
Thing is, Greg, about Miami, they've won 6 or 7 against Denver. They've got the Broncos number.
Yeah, and talking to Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots, he was very, very confident with what Nick Saban can do. And he said this guy is so multiple on defense. He's such a good, motivating head football coach. he won't be surprised by the early result down there in Miami. Unlike a lot of people will look at that Miami team and go, what's going on? You knew they had a good defense. They're not going to put a whole lot of points up, so they better have a good defense.
That's Marvell Smith who's going off the field. Max Starks preceded him off the field. Now they've moved Barrett Brooks to the left tackle. And Starks has just come back in the game. 3rd and 7. They've got to get to the 18. Third receiver is Cedric Wilson. That's Ward in motion from the 10. That's a handoff to Haynes and brought down by Peter Sermon. 15-yard line, gain of 4, and the Steelers will punt for the first time this afternoon.
It's a delightful change, really, from total rushing the last 3 years for the Steelers to start their season. Against New England, they had 74. Against Baltimore 2 years ago, they had 88 yards total rushing. Last year against Oakland, they had 107 yards total rushing, and by himself, Willie Parker has 161.
Rookie free agent long snapper is Warren. And Gardocki, who has never had one blocked in the regular season, sends this to Andre Thurman, who was just cut by the Green Bay Packers. Andre Thurman hit and brought down by rookie running back Noah Herron out of Northwestern. 49-yard punt flag down on the play.
56 of the receiving team. 10 yards, it'll be first down.
It's Cody Spencer who is guilty. Timeout. The Pittsburgh Steelers just punted. Roethlisberger has got ice on his left hand. We're going to try to go back through our replays and see if we can find out where he may have hurt that. But after that Pittsburgh punt, 35-yard line for McNair. 1st and 10 of the play action. Another drop. That's the 3rd drop today. That's dropped by Ben Troop. 2nd down and 10. Critics called Threshold tense, intelligent, and scary. Don't miss the premiere of Threshold Friday night, 8 Central on CBS.
It's aliens.
Yeah.
Yucky things go bump.
Yep. I don't know if I'm going to be watching it. 2nd down and 10.
Oh, you scared? Come sleep.
Yeah. Polk is in for Hampton on the defensive line. Kenny gets the pass. Brought down by the fleet-footed linebacker Harrison to the 46-yard line. It's a gain of 11, and it is a first down.
Well, this early season game, this opener, is any indication. The challenge for the Tennessee Titans will lie on the defensive side of the ball. You see Ben Roethlisberger with a little ice pack on that left hand. Probably seen his last action of the day.
And there is the first catch in rookie Bo Skate's NFL career.
Flag
and
down.
That is a flag thrown. And that is downfield at the 35-yard line.
Face mask, 5 yards from the end of the run. The result of the play is still a first down.
Two kinds, 5 yards and 15.
Skaith, who just caught that pass, ran 2 ACLs at the University of Texas. He had 6 years there, still made first-team All-Big 12, and here he is in the NFL.
Matching set?
Yeah, right. 39-yard line. Couple tight ends for McNair. And he throws, and that is caught. Drew Bennett, 23-yard line, taken out of bounds by Ike Taylor, 16-yard pickup through the air.
Bennett, big physical receiver. You only have to see him shrug a guy off like that, but they just cannot afford these drops. This offense can't, and the football team can't afford any flaws on the offense.
Hampton is back in. 1st and 10 pass to Skaith. He is hit again by Taylor. He's down to the 11-yard line, and he's got another first down. That's a pickup of 12, and on this drive, Kenny has caught one for 11. Bennett caught one for 16. Skaith caught one right there for 12.
Still extremely important for Steve McNair in this offense. Keep your pace, keep your timing. There's 15 more after this.
Porter brings down Brown after a gain of 2, and he's at the 9. It's a long season, especially for the youngest team in the NFL. Tons of new starters.
For the second year in a row.
For the second year in a row,
You know,
exactly.
Over $20 million in dead money. And Bill Cowher and this Steeler organization, I don't know if they can relate to that whole idea of dead money. There's two ways of doing it in the league, it seems. There's the boom and bust mentality where you spend and spend trying to chase that dream. Then you have to pay the price like Tennessee has done. And the Steelers just seem to be so solid. Two head coaches in the history of this organization. And always right on the money with their personnel moves.
6 in the secondary. Henry is a running back playing wide receiver, and that pass was vacuumed in by Skaith as he went right in front of Polamalu at the 4-yard line. What a catch, and a flag is down at the 13.
Well, he was wearing Troy Polamalu like a sweater. Kind of like that hair running down Polamalu's back. That's how he was
Illegal
wearing it.
formation. There's no end on the end of the line. 5 yards. Repeat, second down.
Well, Randy has mentioned it. You've seen it twice about Roethlisberger's left hand injury. We think we may have found when it happened.
Well, the bad snap bobbles it, pushes. Now watch the dog pile ensue.
Maybe there.
And once that happens, you can have people stepping on you, grabbing at the ball. Regardless, the left hand gets a little bit of ice. The hat goes on backwards, and they probably hide his helmet.
Ball's at the 14 officially. 2nd and 13. Henry in the backfield. 6 in the secondary for McNair, who did not throw a fourth-quarter touchdown pass last year, and he's not going to throw one here. He is devoured by Andre Frazier. The ball was jarred free. Tennessee jumps on it. Frazier was just activated yesterday off the practice squad. And that is a loss of 5.
Activated off the practice squad at the expense of Charlie Batch, who was removed from the roster, the third-team quarterback, mainly for what he can do on special teams. But Dick LeBeau getting his young linebacker a chance to get in there and get some plays. He's got Harrison and Hagans with bad groins. Get the young guy a chance, and he knows his dad could play. His dad played for Dick LeBeau, like you mentioned earlier, and now the kid's doing a pretty good job, too.
3rd and 18, they got to get to the 1. McNair, here comes Porter. The ball jarred free, and it's picked up by Hope, who then corkscrews his way to the 33. Tennessee has turned it over for the 3rd time today.
Mercy is a word that's not in the Steeler vocabulary. You get somebody down, you kick them.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Rome. Don't miss HBO's new dramatic series, Rome. Check your local listings. Verizon Wireless. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. And by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 40.
The 3rd Tennessee turnover has given the Steelers the ball at the 33, where it's 1st and 10. And Baron Haynes is brought down by Castle, the linebacker. It's a gain of 1.
Watch Bullock come from the left side. At the last second, Roos, the rookie, tries to get a hand on him, but Joey Porter just obliterates Steve McNair. And as contact is made, the ball says, see ya. They're still coming. They're still blitzing. Joey Porter gives it the little drop kick like they've done to this Tennessee Titans football team in general today, and still got Ben Roethlisberger in there to hand off.
2nd down, 9:34. Boyman is coming in place of the injured Bullock. Sermon makes the grab on Haynes. It's a gain of 1 to the 35-yard line. And one more note on the offensive line for Pittsburgh. Left tackle Marvell Smith is still out. Garrett Brooks taking his place still.
And like you noted, Kevin, that Max Starks is back at right tackle. I know some of you may be thinking, what the heck's Ben Roethlisberger doing still in there? That last run was their 15th straight running play. So it's not like you're exposing your second-year quarterback to much possible damage. His job right now, take the snap and hand it off. If you're in a throwing situation here, I'm really surprised that they throw it more than just once if you don't see Tommy Maddox.
3rd and 7, another running play, and this one, as he steamrolls up the middle, Haynes, with some blocks by Simmons, is brought down by Tank Williams in the secondary, picks up 10, and it's a 1st down. Well, to donate to the Hurricane Katrina Disaster Relief Fund, call 1-800-HELP-NOW or go to redcross.org.
Well, that's 16 straight runs now for the Steelers offense. Expect nothing but that for the rest of this game. This clock's going to just go screaming off the scoreboard. Pittsburgh runs the offense they probably should.
2 Roethlisberger touchdown passes, 2 Pittsburgh rushing touchdowns, 2 field goals. That's a run by Haynes, gain of a yard.
We got 17 total rushes, 17 total rushes in a row here in the last couple of drives. 196 rushing yards so far today, so creeping up on that magical 200-yard mark. And Willie Parker there, you see, talking with Marvell Smith, the big tackle, 77, with 161 of those 196 yards.
47-yard line, second down 8. It's Ward in motion, and he gets it on the handoff. Chased by Thompson, and stiff arms his way, does Ward out of bounds at about the 46. Loss of a yard. Thompson there making the stop in the secondary, a revamped secondary. Thompson is the all-time Pac-10 interception leader.
And this rivalry goes back, to the AFC Central days. A lot of great games between these two franchises, and Jeff Fisher has had the edge over Bill Cowher and his Steelers in the past, but we've told you several times about them being the youngest team in the NFL for the second year in a row, and the shoe's not only on the other foot now, it might be in another closet.
5 in the secondary. Wilson is the third receiver for Pittsburgh. 3rd and 9. They've got to get to the 45. And this is Haynes again, and again Williams in the secondary, among many Titans that bring him down, but shy of the first down at the 47-yard line. Gain is 7. Tomorrow on the Late Show, Dave's All New with Dr. Phil, and later this month, don't miss Reese Witherspoon, Terry Hatcher, and George Clooney. Dave's All New all this week on CBS. So Gardocki to punt for a second consecutive Pittsburgh possession. And the Steelers can do nothing with the turnover. The third turnover and a fumble by McNair.
It's an unusual Pittsburgh possession today, the one that didn't end up scoring points.
Gardocki gets it high. Thurman will watch it bouncing back at him and then kick nicely into the end zone for Tennessee. 47-yard punt. Billy Volek looks like he's going to come in for McNair for the Titans, down 34-7. These great shots coming from the MetLife blimp. Snoopy 1 working hard to provide aerial shots of today's game. Beautiful scenics. Thank you, gang, for doing that with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, 1st and 10. This is Travis Henry. Tripped up on the play by Taylor among many. Picks up 4. He's out to the 24-yard line. McNair's day is finished. He threw a touchdown pass on the game-opening drive. From that time, got bogged down. Titans 3 turnovers, 2 in the red zone.
Well, I mean, you look at those stats. If you're going to debut a new offense, you tell Steve McNair is going to be 18 of 26 for almost 200 yards and a touchdown. And honestly, an interception that he gets on his stats, but should go on the wide receiver stats for the bobble ball by Drew Bennett.
Billy Volek hands off. Here comes Henry on 2nd down and 6, getting blocks downfield from, among others, Bennett. Swerves his way into Ricardo Coakley, picks up 22 yards, and he's up to the 46 and a 1st down.
At the root of the problem, when this game got out of hand, it got out of hand at 2 points. One was the fumble right there after the tackle by Ferrier, and the other one that really killed the momentum of the Titans was that interception/fumble recovery by Troy Polamalu, and just sort of rubbing it in was the fact that McNair fumbled on that hit by Joey Porter.
A lot of second-string defenders now in for the Steelers. It is a 1st down, and Travis Henry, who fumbled earlier today, brought down by Brett Kiesel, 4 years out of BYU, and that is a gain of 1.
Well, this performance on opening day will do nothing to dissuade the fervor here in Pittsburgh. I mean, these fans and around the country are absolutely jacked about the chances of their football team. A lot of it because of that young man right there, the quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, but I don't know, Steeler fans, what do you think about your number 3 running back, Willie Parker? Another thing to feel good about.
Volek with a 2nd down and 9 at the 47. He's got a tight end and 3 receivers, but they were in the wrong position, which prompts Volek to call a timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you? And by Under Armour Performance Apparel. We must protect this house.
Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Tennessee just took a timeout, facing 2nd down and 9. Steelers 34 unanswered points. Roethlisberger 2 touchdown passes. Billy Volek in place of Steve McNair. Intercepted by Ricardo Coakley. The 4th Tennessee turnover. And he was brought down by Troop. He dies at the 43, a 15-yard return. And Coakley gets his first pick of the season.
Well, for all the things that Pittsburgh's done right today by not turning over the ball, not allowing sacks, having very few penalties, on the other side of the coin is a picture of the Tennessee Titans so far. They have had the penalties. That's now their, I believe, 3rd turnover of the day.
That's Coakley's first career interception. At least that's what the media guide says. There's Tommy Maddox in the game, 43-yard line. Hands off to the rookie out of Northwestern, Herron. And he's brought down by Odom. Tommy Maddox was the starting quarterback a year ago at this time.
Yeah, that's a game much like New England fans remember the game that Bledsoe was hit by Mo Lewis and meant Tom Brady had to come in, the same way as remembered that Baltimore game last year when Gary Baxter came from the backside and tore the ligaments on the elbow of Tommy Maddox. That meant the rookie Roethlisberger had to come in, and this football city and this football team have not been the same since.
New center is in as well. That is Chucky Okobe, taking the place of the Pro Bowler Jeff Harding. For no reason, and it's 34-7. From the 43, 2nd down. And here is Herron with 10 to go. He tried to swerve inside, and he was brought down on the play by Travis LeBoy after a gain of 1.
So we'll get one more play here before the 2-minute warning at the end of the 4th quarter. And Steelers just with both feet and the ball firmly planted on the ground. That was a recap of their day. Scored on the first 6 possessions. Probably the most important part of that is the pressure they just kept putting on and putting on and putting on. And finally, you had a little bit of a fold by Tennessee. Not totally unexpected when you're playing a team this young again.
4 turnovers for the Titans, 2 in the red zone, 3rd and 9 for Pittsburgh 44. Herron, he is the Big Ten running back of the year. He's brought down by Ryan Long on a gain of a yard. 2-minute warning. Willie Parker's rushed for 162 yards. Roethlisberger a couple of touchdown passes. It's been all Steelers. Here's a 4th down punt. And Andre Thurman back at the 14-yard line retrieving the Gardocki boot, which sails 42 yards. $1:49 to play in the game. Well, tonight on CBS, how will they create order out of chaos in New Orleans? Find out tonight on 60 Minutes, followed by Cold Case. And George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Julia Roberts lead an all-star cast in Ocean's 11. That's tonight on CBS. Billy Volek will take over with his offense at the 14. Baltimore next week for Tennessee.
Well, that's what Jeff Fisher said. If I want to debut in offense, I couldn't pick 2 worst defenses to do against, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. But, you know, if he's looking for a ray of sunshine today, I think this offensive performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know, it is somewhere to build on. I mean, McNair and them that built on it well. Remember we talked about earlier for Tennessee, they had to find Troy. Well, I think mainly Troy found them predominantly, and that defense in general, and they didn't get much of production out of the Brown-Henry duo, mainly because they got behind so fast so far.
Henry carried the last time for 3, 2nd down and 7. Travis Henry again. Nice penetration by Chris Hope. Former practice squad player throws Henry for a loss of 4. He was starting for Casey Hampton last year when Hampton was injured Game 6 for the Steelers.
And not much of a fall off in that defense, evidently, when you see a defense ranked number 1. Ben Roethlisberger, you start getting near those perfect ratings. You know, I always wonder, how come perfect's not 100? You know, perfect's on a scale of 158.3.
Third down and 11. They've got to get to the 24. And Henry again. Down he goes. Brett Kiesel got him. That's a gain of 3. So 4 turnovers by Tennessee, 2 in the red zone. Roethlisberger 2 touchdown passes, including a 63-yard bomb to Antoine Randall. 2 rushing touchdowns. Parker in his NFL starting debut, 161 yards and 2 Jeff Reed field goals, 34 unanswered Pittsburgh points. The Steelers have now won their first game of the season, 34-7. Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan sending you to New York in our CBS studios.